Jack.
Morning guys, so yeah, that's me, Retrocoms. Thank you Charlie for the lovely banner that we made many moons ago. Bit of marketing there for you. Next slide please. So this is the agenda. I'm going to introduce you to Retrocoms. Why do you choose Retrocoms? Our products and services, what the technology changes are in the market, what's happening right now. The time for analog to VoIP is now. How can we help you, and who are we looking for, and questions and answers. Next slide please. So Retrocoms was formed in 2015. I worked for BT for near enough 25 years, so I pretty much know my stuff in the telecoms market, and there isn't pretty much that I don't know about the telecoms market. Next slide please. So why choose Retrocoms? So people buy from people that they like, and generally when you've got a project, you're going to have an office move, or you're going to upgrade your telecoms, or you need to know what you're doing, and you phone up someone like BT, and you phone them up again, and you phone them up again. You're always speaking to a different person. When you deal with Retrocoms, you're dealing with one person, and that's me. You've got a problem, you phone me. So you don't have to phone up loads of call centres to get your issues or questions or unanswered questions answered immediately. I'll give you a solution that is bulletproof. In other words, you'll know what's on the market, and I'll advise you. It may not be the cheapest solution, but it will be the correct solution that you'll have. And all our staff in our office are cross-trained. So if you have got a query, and for argument's sake, I'm in a meeting, you can phone my office. They can deal with a billing query, they can deal with an installation query, they can deal with whatever your question is. Next slide please. So these are our services. So what is Retrocoms? Retrocoms is a mini BT. That's what we basically are. So we supply all the services that you would go to TalkTalk, Virgin, Vodafone, BT, and what have you. So we supply obviously business calls and lines. So in other words, if you have in your office or your restaurant or your whatever your trade may be, you will have business lines, whether it is ISDN, analog, digital, VoIP. We can look after those services. We do cloud-based solutions. Obviously we do internet. That's probably the biggest number one thing that everyone looks for in their business is their internet, because everything's done through the internet nowadays. We do fibre to the premises. We do like 0800 numbers, so you can have free phone numbers. Obviously we do business mobile. I told you about the deal of the day today. And obviously with Vince, we work very closely, and we do the cable and infrastructure together. Next slide, please. So the big news on the market, I'll keep saying it, in 2025, the analog market will be turned off, period. And it's already started. It's not going to happen in 2025, it's already started. So there are some exchanges in the country that have now turned off their analog services. What does that mean? So the best way I can explain it is, imagine when you used to live at home with your mum and dad and you had the house phone, and you had a phone that you picked up the phone and it had dial tone. That's going. There will be no analog lines anymore after 2025. So you're wondering to yourself, well, what do I do with the house phone? Well, where does that number go? Well, that number will be ported into the cloud. So you'll have your internet router at home, whether it's on whatever kind of ADSL fibre to the cabinet. But in the back of the router, there will be a little port where you can plug your phone. Instead of it coming in on analog, it's going to come in on digital or packets of data. Next slide. So these are the different types of broadbands we do. So back in the day, the very first one at the top, ADSL, was the old original internet. There was actually dial-up before that, but ADSL is the slowest broadband. Then they decided to bring FTTC, fibre to the cabinet. It was designed for the residential market. So they brought one big fibre up to the green cabinet at the end of your road, and then from there it came to copper to each property. Sometimes, obviously, businesses have this, but it was designed for the residential market. So you'll find certain businesses in certain areas cannot get fibre to the cabinet. Therefore, that's the only where they can get is ADSL. Highlighted next, the third line down, Sagia. Sagia is the new type of broadband. So, best way I can explain Sagia, imagine like a Virgin broadband. They bring it on coaxial cable. So it's just broadband without a telephone line. And then with the analog market being turned off, the copper pair of wires that comes to your property will still be functional, but they'll just bring you internet on those copper pair of wires. So in other words, if you're paying for an analog line rental there, and you're paying for broadband there, and you have a combination price of whatever it comes to. Sagia means you're only going to be paying for the broadband. Slightly more expensive than the normal broadband, but with a combination of the analog line and broadband, it will be cheaper. There is a product called G-Fast, which is a faster broadband than fibre to the cabinet on the same copper pair of wires, but you need a special router. But you can achieve speeds of 330 megabytes download. But every new development, and I'm sure Paul, our architect, will tell us this, every new development now, they will not supply you with any kind of analog service, what I've just spoken about. It'll all be fibre to the premises. So when you make a new development, you'll put an application in to get that development kitted up for fibre to the premises. We can handle that. So we can work with people like Paul in getting that service provided ready for that development. And obviously, if you have a business, I'll use an example. Charlie, I hope you don't mind me using you as an example for this. Where Charlie's unit is, he can't get fibre to the cabinet, can't get G-Fast, can't get Sagia, whatever. He's only got ADSL. So they do it deliberately, BT, because they want him to have the bottom one, fibre Ethernet. They don't want to give him fibre to the cabinet. So there's that as well in the market, and we can supply that as well. Next slide. So using all those internets, we can then do your office phones. And whether it be plastic on the desk, whether it be a mobile app, whether it be, as in today's technology, you have like Teams and Zoom, you can have your phone system integrated with all this technology. And that is one of my specialities that I do personally. So if you want to know how to have a VoIP system, have a one-to-one with me, and I'll give you the benefits of what VoIP is. Next slide. And these are all the features that VoIP does. But again, have a one-to-one with me, because if your phones don't ring, there is no ching-ching, and you can answer your phone on the go. Next slide, please. So, how can you help me? Help me find these industries. Next slide, actually. Who are we looking for? Companies that are moving, companies that are expanding, companies that are looking to reduce their costs, especially multi-sited companies where they've got an office, say, A and an office B, and they want to talk to one another. I can supply you a VoIP solution that links them all up. Especially today with home workers. A lot of people are working from home, and I'll give them a solution that they can work from home. And companies that are looking for faster broadband. Thank you.
Well done, Jack.